You ever notice that when people are in a life or death situation, humanity turns into this weird mix of bravery and sheer lunacy? It's like a psychological buffet: courage, fear, and just a sprinkle of sociopathy to keep it spicy. So imagine this: you're on a transatlantic flight. The plane loses an engine, and the pilot's up there like, "Oh, folks, we're experiencing a little bit of a situation." By situation, I mean we're falling out of the sky like a sack of anvils. First, they start tossing out the luggage, right? Because apparently a suitcase full of socks and bad decisions weighs more than an entire plane. Then they chuck the food. Great, now we're plummeting and hungry. Fantastic combo. Then they rip out the seats. Like, yeah, losing a few pounds of cheap upholstery is really gonna fix the fact that we're in a flying death trap. Finally, the pilot gets on the intercom and says, "Listen, we're out of options. We need 3 people to jump out of this plane. No parachutes, just a selfless leap into the abyss to save the rest of us. Who's feeling heroic?" Dead silence. Of course. Nobody wants to die, but nobody wants to be the guy who doesn't volunteer and gets side-eyed for the rest of the flight, right? Eventually, this British guy stands up, all stiff upper lip and full of misplaced colonial nostalgia. He adjusts his tie, looks at the crowd, and says, "God save the Queen!" and jumps out. Brave guy. Or maybe just really bad at math. Next, a Frenchman gets up because if there's one thing the French love, it's making a dramatic exit. He shouts, "Vive la France!" and dives out like he's starring in a tragic art film. Now at this point, you're thinking, wow, people can really rise to the occasion. But then this Texan stands up. Big guy, cowboy hat, belt buckle so big, it probably deserves its own seat. He looks around, smiles, and yells, "Remember the Alamo!" and promptly throws 2 small Mexicans out the door. And that, my friends, is humanity in a nutshell: 1 part courage, 1 part flair, and about 10 parts, screw it, better you than me. It's not survival of the fittest, it's survival of the sneakiest.